Imagine this. You're deep in the misty forests of Germany, centuries ago, with no fridge in sight, and a fresh kill that's about to spoil under the humid sky. But these clever folks? They had secrets that turned rotting meat into mouth-watering masterpieces that lasted months. Secrets that are exploding back into popularity right here in 2026, with everyone buzzing about sustainable food trends, regenerative farming, and off-grid living. Yeah, German meat preservation techniques like traditional smoking, curing, and pickling without refrigeration are the hot topic. Low energy, zero waste ways to keep your protein game strong in a world obsessed with climate resilience and gut-healthy ferments. Stick around because we're uncovering how they mastered it, step by step, and why it's your next kitchen hack. Let's rewind the clock, shall we? Picture a foggy morning in the Middle Ages around the 1200s in a small village nestled in the Black Forest. The air's thick with dampness, not the dry heat of the Mediterranean where you could just hang meat out to cure like jerky. No, in Germany, humidity was the enemy. It invited bacteria, mold, the whole nasty crew that turns fresh pork or beef into a slimy mess in days. But these people weren't about to let nature win. They had to feed families through brutal winters, when hunting was scarce and farms went dormant. So they got creative, real creative. We're talking a blend of science and survival that feels almost magical today. And get this, it all started with salt. Simple, everyday salt. But not just any sprinkle, they used it like a weapon. Salt was gold back then, you know? Wars were fought over salt mines, taxes built empires on it. Why? Because it pulls moisture out of meat like a vacuum, creating a desert where bacteria can't survive. Osmosis, they call it now, but these medieval butchers knew it worked without the fancy term. They'd rub hefty amounts, think 2 to 3% of the meat's weight, into cuts of pork, beef, even game like venison. Let it sit in cool cellars, drawing out juices, toughening the exterior. But in Germany's wet climate, salt alone wasn't enough. It needed partners. Enter smoke and acid. These weren't random experiments. They were passed down wisdom, refined over generations. And as we'll see, each method built on the last, like layers in an epic tale of triumph over spoilage. First up in our journey, smoking. The smoky shield of the Black Forest. Imagine you're that village butcher, hanging slabs of salted pork over a low-fire pit. But not too close, oh no, that'd cook it and ruin the preservation. Cold smoking, that's the key. Temps below 30 degrees Celsius. Smoke wafting gently from woods like fir, beech, or juniper. Why those woods? They impart flavors that dance on your tongue, piney, earthy, a hint of sweetness. But more importantly, the smoke's packed with natural antimicrobials, phenols and acids that coat the meat, forming a barrier against bugs. It's like armor plating your food. Take Black Forest ham or Schwarzwälder Schinken. This bad boy is the star of the show. Legend has it, it started in those dense woods where farmers needed meat to last through snowbound months. You'd start with a fresh pork leg, bone in for that deep flavor. Rub it down with sea salt, garlic, coriander, black pepper, maybe a secret family spice blend. Let it cure in a chilly spot for weeks, flipping it daily as the salt works its magic. Then the smoking ritual begins. Hang it in a smokehouse, fire smoldering far away so only cool smoke kisses the surface. Days turn to weeks, sometimes months, the rind darkening to that iconic black hue from the pine smoke. No heat cooking here. It's all about dehydration and preservation. Slice it thin, and bam, tender, smoky heaven that stores for half a year in a pantry. But wait, was it foolproof? Not always. Stories whisper of batches gone wrong. Too much humidity, and mold creeps in. Butchers learned to watch the weather, time the cures just right. One tale from the 1700s tells of a Black Forest family who survived a famine thanks to their hidden ham stash. They traded slices for grain, keeping the village alive. Fast forward to 2026, and this method's blowing up. Why? With power grids straining under climate weirdness, folks are going off-grid. Home smokers with smart apps track humidity, making it easy for you or me. Plus, regenerative farms are pairing it with pasture-raised pigs, cutting emissions while boosting soil health. It's not just food. It's a statement. Gen Z's all over it on socials, posting their DIY hams as part of the nose-to-tail movement, using every bit to reduce waste. Now, let's shift gears to something tangier. Pickling. Yeah, the Germans turned vinegar into a time machine for meat. In the Rhineland, where rivers flood and summers steam, drying wasn't an option. So they drowned the problem, literally. Sauerbraten, the sour roast, is the hero here. Picture a tough cut of beef, rump or chuck, submerged in a brine of vinegar, red wine, onions, bay leaves, peppercorns, maybe cloves for that warm kick. Days, sometimes a week or two in a cool crock. The acid drops the pH, making it hostile for microbes, while tenderizing the fibers. It's like marinating on steroids. History buffs say Charlemagne's cooks invented it for long campaigns, preserving meat on the march without spoilage. Imagine nights chowing down on tangy roasts after battles, the flavors exploding after slow cooking. You'd swear the pickled meat, then braise it with the strained marinade, thickening it into a gravy with ginger snaps for sweetness. Result? Melt-in-your-mouth beef that's lasted days unrefrigerated in its brine. But the real magic? That pickling phase extends freshness way beyond fresh cuts. In humid Germany, it was a lifesaver. Cut to today, 2026, and pickling's riding the wave of fermented foods for gut health. Add sauerkraut juice to your brine, and boom, probiotics join the party. With food security chats heating up amid climate shifts, this low-tech method's perfect for urban homesteaders. No electricity needed, just a jar and patience. And trends show its scaling. Chefs are pickling everything from venison to plant-based meats, tying into the protein shift where quality trumps quantity. The sustainable, too. Reuse that brine in circular cooking, minimizing waste. Speaking of portable powerhouses, we can't skip sausages. Wurst, the German obsession. Over 1,500 varieties, from fresh to fermented, but the preserved ones, they're the survivors. Think Metwurst or summer sausage, designed for warm months without fridges. Start with ground pork or beef, mix in 2 to 3% salt, spices like nutmeg, marjoram. Add a starter culture for fermentation, good bacteria that drop the pH to around 5.0, killing off the bad guys. Stuff into casings, ferment warm for a day or 3, then dry or smoke low and slow. In Thuringia or Bavaria, families hung these in attics, lasting a year. One story from the 1500s. A traveler lost in the Alps survived on smuggled Metwurst, its spreadable texture from fine grind and curing. No cooking needed, just slice and eat. The fermentation is like nature's preservative, adding tangy depth. Today, with 2020 SIXS focus on metabolic health and alternative proteins, hybrid plant meat wursts are trending. Fermentation platforms are booming, shared facilities making it accessible for small farms. And regenerative AG? Pigs rooting in pastures build soil, their meat preserved old school for zero waste. But let's zoom out. Why's all this ancient wizardry trending now, in 2026? Climate chaos, for one. Extreme weather's disrupting supply chains, making fridges unreliable in blackouts. Regenerative farming's exploding. Think farms like those in Indiana, raising pigs on forage diets, then preserving with these methods to cut emissions. Gen Z's driving beef consumption up, ditching myths for nutrient-dense eats, and these techniques fit the bill. No ultra-processing, just real food. Circularity's key. Side streams like brine get reused, aligning with net zero goals. Health angle? Ferments boost gut microbiomes, smoked meats pack antioxidants. And sustainability? Low energy, local sourcing. It's the antidote to industrial meats woes. Posts on X are lit with homesteaders sharing tips, from African sun-drying twists to European cold smoking. Even cultivated meats are getting the traditional treatment for flavor. Back in those medieval kitchens, they preserved out of necessity. Today, it's choice for flavor, planet, resilience. So what's stopping you? Grab some salt, fire up a smoker, pickle that roast. Experiment safely, measure precisely to dodge botulism. But dive in. These methods aren't relics. They're the future. Prost to that. Keep watching for more, hit like if you're inspired, and comment your fave method below. Until next time, stay preserved.